Hello everybody and welcome back to Operation Logistics, where our pathfind in biome hexes apparently isn't working. So there are a couple of things that I've noticed here. We're not getting this message, path succeeded with 0 steps. That's not being output here. Another thing that's not being output is pathfind failed, no connections found. Now, we are getting path failed, no connections found, but that's this that's outputting it, the pathfind building to vector 3. So, the question then is pathfind in biome hexes not being called at all? Because we're not getting anything out of it. We're not getting this log error, we're not getting path succeeded, we're not getting path failure. So the question is, why are we getting literally nothing out of it? We are also not getting the world hexes to consider.count, and I'm going to move that, actually, to be up here, to where it's like the very first thing it does. Yeah, we're going to need to do that. Okay, so the question then is, do we get anything at all out of it? Is it just not calling the biome hexes? Well, let's go ahead and let that compile in. Okay, let's try this again. So I don't think that it's actually a connections issue, even though we are only showing 3 connections, which is a little on the weird side, but let's go ahead and purchase this hex and create a route. Select the route. And okay, null reference exception. Path failed, no connections found, and it didn't even output this new debug log that we put in. Right here. So, it's not even calling pathfind in biome hexes? Interesting. Interesting. So, for pathfind in world hexes, oh, hang on a moment. Hang on a moment. Okay, so it works when this is true. It also works when we're within the same biome hex inclusion. It does not work if this is... It does not work if we're within the same world hex, but not within the same biome hex. That's when it doesn't work. So, it's not calling pathfind in biome hexes because it shouldn't be. We have no world hex inclusion. Though I suppose we could create one. What if we were to do biome hex inclusion equals pathfind in biome hexes from to manager new list world hex, and then we just put in from.world hex. Except we need to actually get the we would need to do manager dot this is what, an integer? This is an int3. Get world hex by index. Like that. And we just get that world hex. And then we could pass in biome hex inclusion. Is that going to work? This has been a bit of a rabbit hole because I wasn't expecting to find this error, but is that just going to work? I guess we'll find out. We'll also see if that breaks internal pathfinding within a single biome hex. Argument out of range exception. That's really obnoxious that that's still happening. Hex Manager line 494. 494. Yeah, right there. So, that shouldn't be happening, though. It goes from 0 to potential seeds.count, but it makes sure that it's not equal to 0 before it moves on. I don't know, that's really weird. Well, maybe we'll fix that later on. Okay, skip that tutorial. Let's make sure interhex pathfinding is not broken. So let's do a create route. And then we're going to take it over to, say, here. Oh yeah, we have to select it. Over to, say, here. So that's working fine. And it looks like that fixed it. Yeah, that seems to have fixed it. Okay, well, that's one way to do it. So the reason that wasn't working, then, is just because it wasn't doing the pathfinding in biome hexes when it should have been. So the biome hex inclusion, then, if it's within the same biome hex, should just be... I mean, it's working fine. So it's working within the world or within the same biome hex, and it's also working outside of the biome hex now. So this should be fixed at this point, theoretically. And we can go back to what we were doing, which was something. I don't know, that was a bit of a rabbit hole there. But at least that's working now. Oh, I think what we were doing is we were trying to decide how to handle package delivery, right? Because we don't necessarily know where the packages are going. How are we even generating that? Now that I think about it. In the parcel manager, how are we generating where the packages go? So the destination, when we generate pickup package, origin destination equals a random world hex that is within this distance of us. Okay. And then a random biome and building hex within that. So it's going to be at most 4 world hexes away, at least right now. That can be quite a ways, realistically speaking. Some of these could be really hard to deliver, and realistically, I'm not sure that routes are going to be a great solution for that unless we just have like a postal office that is dedicated to like one particular hex here. So for example, we would need to do like confirm that, demolish this. Actually, let's construct a postal office right there. And then this would be responsible for pickup and delivery, like in this region only, right? Now, this isn't an amazingly good road setup, but that can happen. You can have a good one. Not like that. Not like that. Not like any of these. These are all kind of crappy. These are all quite crappy, in fact. What an ideal solution would be that you just have essentially a path around here and then like a path through the center. That would be an ideal solution. I'm not sure that that's a thing in any of these. However, we would then want to like create a route here. And when we're in edit route mode, we probably want to color these tiles in a way that can show us what tiles are currently being affected by the route. So say we want to go to, we have to select the route. We want to come down here, then here, then here, then here. Essentially just hit all the roads like that. So what places are not going to be covered by this particular route? Well, this isn't, but if we move this here, it would be. Similarly, This guy is not covered. We probably want these to all be on the exits, actually. And this isn't an amazingly... this isn't an amazingly efficient route. And I'm wondering if this is actually longer than we have fuel for just in this single hex. It's a possibility. Now, one thing that we can do is we can technically go off-road with it. We can take it up over here. But we don't really necessarily want to do that. So let's go ahead and head into vehicle transfer mode, plop that on into the route, and then we'll just go ahead and observe the vehicle there. It's very small and hidden under the route, but it's there. Eventually we're probably going to make this route a little more aesthetically pleasing, somewhat transparent and such. Let's go... Hang on. It appears to have gotten stuck. Why did it get stuck? Let's go into edit route mode. Move this over here. Argument out of range exception. Okay. So editing the route while the vehicle is on the route appears to cause issues. It also got stuck there, and I'm wondering if that has to do with... Well, let's see if we can reproduce it. I'm wondering if it has to do with being on an exit tile. So let's go ahead and buy land here. Demolish that. We're just going to create a route here, and we're just going to send this over to here, and then back, and that's it. We'll go ahead and construct a postal office underneath that route. And then we will select the postal office, create the delivery vehicle, and assign that to the route. And let's see what exactly it does. Yeah, see, it got stuck here again. It's fascinating. Okay. And then if we remove the route, it should just pop back into the postal office there. And it appears that it did indeed. Okay. So, let's create another route here. And we'll take this just over like this. About like that. Oh, we need to assign it. Oh, we're not in No, we're in transfer vehicle mode. Do we not have it selected? There we go. Vehicle assigned to route. So let's see if it bounces again. Oh, it is bouncing right at the end of the waypoint. Look at that. Huh. Okay, so why is that happening? Let's take a look at the vehicle. And then in our on-minute tick, we are doing this here. So the question is there something wrong with our next hex location? I suppose we could do something along the lines of, well, didn't we have this issue already? Well, kind of, but also kind of not. Oh, I know what the problem is. In the route, the issue is that we are grabbing our current and we get the hex position of current. So yeah, that's the problem. This returns the first index, and that was a backtrack. So it's always just going to bounce between them because we just do index of. So rather than passing in int3 current, Maybe the vehicle should know its path index. So like private int path index. And then down here, rather than doing get next hex, maybe we should do, or actually, yeah, this is fine. We'll have this start at 0, path index equals 0. And then rather than passing in our location, we'll just pass in our path index. Except not here. We would want to do it here. So path index, and then path index plus plus. Okay, and then we'd need to, in the root, go ahead and change this to expect an int index. And then we would not need to do this. Instead, we'd just do our current v3 equaling path index, like so. Do we actually need that vector 3, though? I don't think we do. If current index equals -1, blah, blah, blah. So if index equals -1, I don't think that's even necessary, realistically. I think all we need to do is this. So if index plus 1 equals path.count, return manager.getNearestHex hex path 0. Otherwise, return index plus 1. Now we're expecting an int 3 here. And that's correct. So getNext hex equals path index. And this is on start root, so we'll set path index to 0 here, since we know that this is called when we start the root. Let's see if that fixes it. So let's hop on in here. As soon as it compiles. Come on. There we go. Oh, argument out of range exception. Wonderful. Okay. That really shouldn't be happening. Like, it really, really shouldn't be. I don't know. That's weird. Okay. We'll go ahead and skip the tutorial. And we will come on in here. We will buy land here. And then we will go ahead and create a route. And this is just going to be a very basic route here. Just like that. That should do the trick. And then we'll go ahead and construct a postal office. Oh, we need to demolish the clearing. No, console, I don't want you here. Go on another monitor for now. We need to demolish the clearing, which we already did. And now we need to do a postal office. Bring in a vehicle. Enter transfer vehicle node. Place it onto the route. And away it goes, and it got briefly stuck, I thought. But now it seems to be working. Let's make sure it follows the whole route here. Okay, argument out of range exception when it got back to the entrance. So that's good to know. And we want the console in here, but we actually don't need 2 console tabs. So we're getting argument out of range exceptions once we get back. However, I think the answer to that is simply that we need to do path.count -1. Okay. Let's just test that really fast here. Oh, the other thing that we need to do, obviously, is we need to, in the vehicle, we need to reset path index when that happens. So we need to do something along the lines of... Where are we? We need to be in minute tick. So here, if path index equals, this should be following route dot path dot count -1. Actually, just dot count. Path index equals 0. We'll reset that. Okay, let's see if that works. I think we're going to have to rerun this. Come on. I'm reasonably sure we'll have to rerun it. Yeah. Okay. We'll go ahead and do that very, very quickly here. We're running a little over on this episode, but I just want to make sure that this is working. Come on. There we go. We'll come on in here. We'll go with this one. We'll buy this brewery, knock it on down, build a postal office, create a route, and we're just going to take this route over to here. That'll be fine. Okay, and then we will go ahead and create a delivery vehicle, put that on the route, and off it goes. You can see it paused here for a little bit, which was interesting. It did that the other time too, and that's something we're probably going to want to look into. Oh, hello. It just skipped straight here, and then argument out of range exceptioned. That's certainly interesting. Okay, I think that was the problem then. We'll test that once again. This episode is going quite over, but that's okay. Go ahead and compile, and in we go. Should be a pretty quick test. I just want to make sure this is working. Okay. We'll come on in here, and this'll do. We will purchase this hex here. And actually, we should build a postal office there. There we go. Create a route. And we're going to take the route over to, say, here, then here, then here, then here. That'll do. Okay, and then we will go ahead and buy a delivery vehicle, place it on the route, and off he goes. See, he stops at that first one for 1 hex duration, which makes me think that we need to remove at 0, or remove at 1, or something like that. But let's see how he does as we approach the loop. Okay, perfect. And interestingly, the second time, he didn't pause there. Fascinating. Well, I'm going to go ahead and put that down as a known issue, but I do need to put a cut in here, so we're going to look into that next time. Subscribe for more, and I will see you all then.